NES Godzilla. NES Godzilla is based on the 1988 game Godzilla, Monster of Monsters, for the Nintendo Entertainment System, NES. The story was written by a user named Cosbydoff and tells the experience of a player named Zachary, who finds a strange, possibly cursed copy of the game. At first, everything seems normal, but as Zachary plays, things start getting weird. Zachary notices that some non-Godzilla monsters are showing up, characters that were never part of the real game. There are strange and creepy creatures, including Red, the main antagonist of the Creepypasta, who's a horrifying red monster with a skeletal look and glowing eyes. Red becomes the symbol of the game's corruption and seems to break the fourth wall, directly targeting Zachary through the game. As the game progresses, the levels change, becoming more twisted and nightmarish, and the bosses start acting unnaturally. Some of the levels even look organic or fleshy, adding to the disturbing vibe. Zachary realizes the game isn't just glitching. It's like the game has a will of its own. The most unsettling part is that Red isn't just some random boss. As the story goes on, Red torments Zachary on a personal level, revealing memories from Zach's past, including the death of his girlfriend, Melissa. In the end, Zachary faces Red in an intense final battle, where Red transforms into even more terrifying forms. After defeating Red, the game resets to normal, and Zachary, emotionally drained, steps away from the game, unsure if it's truly over. Sonic.exe looks like the Sonic we all know, the fast, heroic blue hedgehog. But one look at his black eyes with bleeding red pupils, sharp teeth, and twisted smile, and it's clear this isn't the hero from the games. The story of Sonic.exe began with a creepypasta written by JC the Hyena in 2011. In the story, a boy receives a mysterious Sonic PC game from a friend. As soon as he plays it, things spiral into horror. The game starts with disturbing, hyper-realistic graphics. The music turns dark, and the once happy levels become filled with dead animals and destroyed landscapes. Sonic.exe slowly hunts down and kills characters like Tails, Knuckles, and Dr. Eggman. Throughout the game, chilling messages like "I am God" appear, making it clear Sonic.exe enjoys torturing both his victims and the player. In gameplay and fan games, Sonic.exe is known for his speed, teleportation, sharp claws, and supernatural control over the game world. He moves fast enough to appear and disappear at will, and no matter how hard his victims try to escape, he always catches them. His victims' souls are often shown as trapped inside the game, suggesting they are never truly free from his grasp. If the music cuts out, if the eyes turn black, if you hear him whisper, "I am God," it's already too late. Polybius is all about an arcade game that supposedly existed in the early 1980s. But here's the catch. No one can prove it was real. The story goes that Polybius was a strange arcade cabinet that showed up in a few arcades around Portland, Oregon. The game looked normal at first, just another shooter or puzzle game, but players quickly realized something was off. People reported weird side effects after playing, like headaches, night terrors, memory loss, and even hallucinations. And here's where things get even weirder. According to the legend, men in black were often seen coming to the machines late at night, collecting data, and sometimes tweaking the settings. That led to the theory that Polybius wasn't just a game. It was some kind of government experiment to study mind control or behavior manipulation. By the early 2000s, Polybius had blown up on the internet as one of the biggest arcade myths. People started digging through old arcade records, looking for cabinets, or even creating fan-made versions of the game. But no one has ever found a real Polybius machine, at least not one that can be confirmed. Mario 64, Super Mario 64, the classic Nintendo 64 game from 1996, is way darker than you'd expect from a Mario game. The story begins with a player who gets a used or a haunted copy of the game. As they play, they notice strange things that weren't part of the normal game, like distorted music, creepy textures, Mario making disturbing faces, or even blood appearing on walls. In most versions of the story, the player describes how the game world becomes more and more broken the longer they play. Mario's voice changes, the background music slows down, or plays in reverse, and the once fun, colorful world turns into something empty and unsettling. Some players in the stories even say that Mario starts acting on his own, looking at the screen or smiling in a weird, lifeless way. One of the most famous examples tied to this legend is the "every copy of Mario 64 is personalized" meme, which claims that every cartridge of the game is slightly different and might contain strange or creepy details that no one else will experience. Ben Drowned. Ben Drowned begins when a college student named Jeduceable buys a used copy of The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask at a yard sale. The cartridge appears normal, but when he boots it up, there's an old save file named Ben. He ignores it at first and creates his own save, but that's when strange things start happening. While playing, characters in the game begin calling him Ben instead of Link, even though he never used that name. He tries to delete the Ben file, but things only get worse. The game glitches, screens flash, music distorts, and the happy mask salesman keeps appearing with a creepy grin. The most unsettling part is the Elegy of Emptiness statue, which starts following him around in-game. No matter what he does, he can't escape it. At one point, his character is teleported to Skull Kid, and when he tries to fight, Link bursts into flames and dies. Jeduceable begins to lose his grip on reality. He hears the Happy Mask salesman's voice saying, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you? And you shouldn't have done that." When he checks the save screen again, the file name has changed to Ben Drowned. According to the legend, Ben was a real boy who drowned in the neighborhood, and his spirit ended up haunting the game forever. Herobrine. Herobrine began in the video game Minecraft. His story first showed up online in 2010 when an anonymous post appeared on 4chan. Herobrine is described as a mysterious and creepy character who looks just like the default Minecraft player, Steve, except he has white glowing eyes with no pupils, giving him an eerie, supernatural vibe. In the original Creepypasta story, a player joined a single-player world and noticed what looked like a Steve's skin silently watching them. The weird part, they weren't in multiplayer mode. The player kept seeing strange things like small pyramids, leafless trees, and random tunnels. When they asked other players about it, they were told Herobrine was the name of the figure, and that it was supposedly the ghost of Notch's dead brother, even though Notch later said he has no brother. Even though Herobrine has never been in the official game, his legend spread super fast. Fans started creating mods to add him into Minecraft, videos of supposed sightings, and guides on how to summon him, usually by building a special shrine with gold blocks, netherrack, and lighting it with a flint and steel. Honestly, he's not as scary as some other internet legends. At the end of the day, he's just a Steve skin with 2 white pixels for eyes. Slenderman. Slenderman is one of the most iconic creepypasta with games and a terrible movie being made on him. It all started in 2009 on the Something Awful forum, where he was created as part of a creepy story contest. Since then, he's become a figure of internet horror. Slenderman is described as an unnaturally tall, thin man with tentacles that can stretch out and grab his victims. His face is completely featureless, just smooth, white skin, giving him a haunting, faceless appearance. Because of this, Slenderman is a terrifying and mysterious figure with no real identity. Slenderman doesn't just kill his victims, he stalks them, manipulates them, and drives them insane. He's known to haunt forests, schoolyards, and even abandoned buildings, patiently waiting for the right moment to strike. One of the most well-known real-life cases related to Slenderman happened in 2014, when 2 12-year-old girls, Morgan Geyser and Anissa Wire, convinced their friend Peyton Leutner to go into the woods with them. They hurt her, believing that doing so would make Slenderman happy. This tragic event, known as the Slenderman stabbing, highlighted how strong the character's influence was. The Princess. The Princess is an original character, not tied to a specific video game like Mario or Zelda. The story usually starts with a player or character exploring an old, abandoned castle or kingdom. Inside, they meet the princess, who at first seems like the classic fairy tale figure, beautiful, graceful, and polite. But it doesn't take long for things to go off the rails. As the person interacts with her, it's clear that the princess isn't human anymore. She's often described as having pale skin, empty eyes, and a twisted smile. What's really chilling is that her polite, soft-spoken personality never changes. One of the creepiest parts of the princess's character is how she traps her victims. She lures people in with charm, making them feel safe. And then, once they've let their guard down, she reveals her true self. The princess is sometimes linked to themes of loneliness and obsession, wanting people to stay with her forever, even if that means hurting them. That's part of what makes her such an unsettling figure.